Great. Thank you, everybody, for giving us such interesting insights on the demo sites, on what is important for the municipalities, such as citizen engagement, and who will be able to work with the platform, for example. We will now have a few concluding remarks and then go to the site visit. I will let Susana Martín from CARTIF start, and I will say a few things myself. But you can, Susana, you can come here. No? No, it's okay. Oh yeah, she wants to. Okay. Good. This is new. Yes. It's vibrating. Can you hear me? No?
Hello? It's working now? Yeah. So, buenas tardes, good afternoon to everybody. My name is Susana Martín. I belong to CARTIF Technology Center. I'm working with the OptEEmAL team and also supporting Miguel in the coordination. And I'm very glad to present the conclusions and the lessons learned and best practices that we have obtained during the execution of the project. Is this one? Okay. So I'm going to remind some of the main points that Miguel have presented this morning in the introduction of the section. So during these 3 years and a half, the OptEEmAL team have worked very hard in order to detect the shortcomings that actually we have in the business as usual in the design of retrofitting projects that are reflecting in these 3 points in the up part of the slide. That is the fragmented section that we have relating to the stakeholders. That means that we need different stakeholders, different experts to be involved in a retrofitting, in the design of a retrofitting project. But we don't count on the necessary collaboration tools to obtain an agreement and to work properly towards an objective. And in this case, we obtain a different, different interest in this sense. From the other side, these experts want to try different scenarios regarding the design of a retrofitting action. And in this sense, they need to use different commercial or non-commercial tools that normally don't operate or interoperate between each other. So in this sense, we obtain a time-consuming process if we want to check different alternatives. The previous one provoke an error. It's prone to errors, the situation. And in this context, the OptEEmAL projects have worked in order to obtain a good solution that is easier in the collaboration, providing the IPD approach, the integrated project delivery approach, in order to facilitate the communication between all or among all the stakeholders. Also, we integrate the different existing external and internal tools in order to be faster in the decision making. And finally, we are able also to obtain an accurate solution. Okay. So at the end, we have been able to develop a decision-making tool that is able to provide a proposal or design of a retrofitting project, providing different optimal scenarios where different energy conservation measures have been included, and that help in collaborating among all the stakeholders that are involved in the design and the execution of a project. So this part has been also introduced in the part of Miguel. So at the end, the objective of OptEEmAL is to integrate these 5-6 main pillars that are related with the IPD-based retrofitting design approach, with the BIM-based information exchange approach that is not very or not commonly used according to our real world, but that is being pushed by the European Commission. Also, we have developed this catalog of energy conservation measures We have also elaborated the simulator of well-established indicators at different scales. We have also developed the multi-criteria decision analysis approach. And finally, this district data model that is common in order to make all these separate things understandable each other. Our main challenges in order to obtain these objectives have been at the end to demonstrate the tool that we have generated in 5 TRLs or technology readiness level from TRL 5 to TRL 7. So the challenge related to TRL 5 is related to the technology validated in relevant environment. In this case, we have tested how the different components presented by Marco and Luca are able to work properly individually, and then that they are able to communicate each other. And in this case, we have been able to demonstrate that the complete prototype is able to work with a fictive case. In this case, for TRL5, we have used a fictive case with the district of Santiago de Compostela and one fictive building that is called Demo 4. In the next step is the demonstration in TRL6, that is the platform prototype validated in relevant environment through the evaluation of the case studies. So in this case, we have jumped from a fictive case to a real case, validating the platform with 3 case studies. In this case, we have tested the platform in the district of 4 de Marzo, that is the one that we are going to visit after this session. The Mogel district located in Eibar, in Spain also, and the Pollen district located in Lund, that is the one presented by Elin before. So in this case, the objective of this TRL is to be able, again, to communicate all the components, but in this case, to demonstrate that the platform is able to operate with real data, so real CTGMLs, real IFC, and check the information that we obtain with the OptEEmAL platform with this information that already exists coming from existing projects. In this case, in the case of 4 de Marzo and in the case of the Mogel district in Eibar, data has been provided from previous European projects. So we are able to compare the results of OptEEmAL and the results of the real simulation and measurement of the projects, and be able to fine-tune the platform in order to be accurate enough to cover the user needs and requirements. And finally, we are trying to finalize the validation of the platform with TRL7, that is the final platform deployed and demonstrated in relevant environment. So in this case, we are testing the platform in 3 different pilot sites in this case, represented by our municipalities here. So is the Ciominenea district in San Sebastian, the San Bartolomeo district in Trento, in Italy, and again the Pollen district in Lund, covering 3 different climatic zones. And in this case, we need to know the feedback coming from the trainings in order to know that OptEEmAL works properly according to the requirements provided by the municipalities and also by the experts participating in the trainings. And that also we are providing results that are feasible to be applied in this case, by the experts. But what happened after TRL7? This is part of the question coming from Javier this morning, Veolia. So when we plan to have OptEEmAL ready to be used in the real world. And this is part of our exploitation strategy that has been covered during the project execution, and that is going to be presented by Natalie in this case. So I pass you the floor.
A very brief overview of what has been done during the project with regards to the exploitation, and then we can try to answer this question, whether we are ready to exploit the platform. Just to give a quick overview, why do we care about exploitation? Because if we have a new product or a new service and we have to exploit it to actually get or reap the benefits for our organization. We can reach new markets with these, we can grow our companies, create new jobs, and use them for further research or publications, etc., more in the scientific context, and increase competitiveness in general in the sector between companies. And also the project started 3.5 years ago. It's a lot of time. We also had a lot of different partners from different countries. We had different types of organizations, or we have different types of organizations, R&D, research organizations like, I'm not going to name all of them, but so research organizations, we have universities, municipalities, and SMEs and other industry. And they all, or everybody comes into the project with different expectations, right? So some, let's say, for example, the universities, they are more interested in the publications and the research and what they can use for the teachings. Then we have the research and development centers who are also interested in the research, but especially also in the applications and what services they can use and provide, and how they can commercialize them afterwards. So they're kind of the link with the industry as well. Then we have the industry and the SMEs who are looking to actually use or sell a product and increase their competitiveness through the products or services. And we have the municipalities, as we've heard before, that who are interested in, one thing is the methodology for what has been developed in the OptEEmAL project, but especially for improving the life quality for the citizens, and then getting citizens or the public to accept the solution. And then we have different understandings and expertises that are brought into the project, a lot of very technical expertise, and this expertise needs to be protected. That's one aspect, and the different partners come into the project with different expectations or expertises regarding the exploitation and what do you do with the IP that is that comes into the project with the partners and that is developed further in the project. And this is why we need to clarify these issues and then see how we move on with the new developed project results and exploitable results. So this exploitation means, for those, is the use of the project results beyond, during, and beyond the project. And what we have done, I've just separated it into three blocks. So the first block, we have, in the beginning of the project, defined the background, which is all the knowledge and know-how and IP that the partners brought into the projects from the companies. And people, of course, because people are the ones who actually have the knowledge as well. And then we have defined what we expected, what kind of project results should be generated from the project, and then kind of defined which ones of these would be exploitable in which way, which can be different commercialization to research, further research, etc. Then in the second part, we have identified the ownership claims and the access rights to different knowledge brought into the project and what has been developed into the project, because to develop something new, a new tool or some kind of part or module of one component of the platform, let's say, whether it's the HVAC tool or the district data model or whatever, you probably need very different expertises from different partners, so you have to make sure that everybody gets access to whatever information they need and that it is still protected within the context of the project. And we have started to introduce then like business model thinking to, once the platform is ready, 1 to 2 years from now, hopefully, we get to see exactly who the customer segments are. We went then on to define it more in detail with the value propositions, and then see what key activities, what key partners we need, what resources and started talking about the costs and the revenues, which is still a little bit away, but you have to think about these things very early on. And we hope that it is clear now, it has become clear. We've heard a lot today that the platform is kind of the future. Maybe it's a little bit advanced for what is happening now in the retrofitting sector, but there are so many pushes from different directions, from the industry, from the public sectors, from the municipalities, the policies that are pushing towards a change in the sector. So we just want to be ready when the platform is ready, and the other project results as well. And then there should be a roadmap, because the project ends, for what should be done after the project in this regard. And I'm just going to maybe show you a few, the main exploratory results that we have identified, that we have gone through the process in more detail for. So the OptEEmAL platform as a whole, you've seen it today a lot, is one of the main exploratory results. You have seen the ECM catalog and the district simulation toolbox, which includes the energy simulation tool and the next generation tool and the eco tool, HVAC simulation service. Yes, I hope we have seen all of them today, right? Yeah, most of them. Okay, so. If you have more questions, we're here and there's more information. And the district data model generator, for example. So these are some of the main, most important results that came out of this project, and that really are very valuable and that should be further used in the future. A few other things would be then technology watch, which you should always perform to make sure that you know what other patents or trademarks or copyrights are out there, what patents or IP protection you should file yourself, but also what is already out there, and so that you don't run the risk of any patent infringements or something. And you should always check what other research projects there are. There are many, many other competing research projects, also from the EU and other initiatives. And we've seen some of them today. And there's the Europe Enterprise Network, which allows you to it's a network of many, many, over 600 organizations, SMEs, research centers, etc. And you can have a profile in this network and find other technology offers or requests, business offers or requests, which gives the potential for collaboration on research or some kind of commercialization strategies. And yes, the roadmap I mentioned. And yes, we're ready to exploit. We just need to further develop the platform and then see exactly. It's a process. It's not done. It's not, I have the business model and I know this is my customer segment, whether that's like the energy consultants or the urban city planners or like different customer segments that we have identified. It's a process. So if we develop one of the project results into a further stage, then maybe some of these commercialization aspects will change, and then we need to see who else it might be interesting for, or maybe what has become, I don't know, more interesting or less interesting for one group or more for the other, and then you have to adapt the strategy. And please, Susanna.
Yeah. I think that I go to another one, and then I go back to this one. That is related to the part of the exploitation, is where to go from here. Because as I said before, we have demonstrated the platform, already demonstrated for TRL 5, 6, and 7. So what do we need to do so in order to obtain something that is commercializable? So we need to finalize the validation of the prototype in our demo sites, the TRL7. First of all, that is something that we are doing now until the end of the month. We need also to improve the prototype with the feedback coming from the trainings, because we have obtained a very valuable feedback coming from the experts of the different cities. We have also to complete our exploitation strategy in the roadmap presented by Natalie. And we have also to analyze the possibilities to cover TRL8 and TRL9, of course, outside the scope of the OptEEmAL project. This is something that we need to do out of this project. So this is what we are covering now, and this is the future in order to have something to be commercialized. And going back, during these 3 years and a half, we have learned a lot, mainly coming for the shortcomings and the problems that we have detected in the execution of the project. And we have collected here some of the most important, or I would like to highlight some of the most important lessons learned during these 3 years and a half. One of them is the need to have good input data to the platform in order to feed the platform properly. So we need an accurate and reliable generation of the initial BIM model and a CTGML file. This is also a problem taking into account the actual situation of the municipalities and the experts. But in this case, we have generated 2 guidelines in order to help the expert to generate this kind of files properly, and in order to make the OptEEmAL platform to work well. A second lesson learned is regarding the energy conservation measured catalog. Of course, we have, as Juan said this morning in his session, we have generated more or less a complete set of energy conservation measures that can cover the needs of our case studies and demo cases. But of course, we need a catalog that should be active and that should be updated according to the novelties in the market. Otherwise, the catalog is not useful at all. Another one is related to the data quality issues. That is one issue presented by Yorgos Lilis this morning also. That is related that we have discovered that the information coming from the existing tool is not enough in order to OptEEmAL to work properly. So within the scope of the project, we have the need to develop different tools to support the enrichment and the enhancement of this information coming from the external tools to provide the proper information to the platform. And in that sense, we have generated the CBIP tool and also the DNS tool and other tools in order to improve the C model. Okay. Another problem issue detected is the complexity when we jump to the building scale to the district scale. From the building scale to the district scale, the complexity increases a lot. We have detected this problem once we cover the TRL6. So this is something to take into account in the early beginning stages of the project, otherwise it's very difficult to cover this jump. Okay, so in this case, the key factor is the concept of scalability in order to overcome this problem properly. Again, a mention regarding the BIM models. In this case, again, we have to insist that this is not the BIM, but in this case, the IFC and CTGML as standards are being promoted by the European Commission to be used in the scope of the refurbishment projects. And it's something that in the reality is not being used. So this is an issue that we need to overcome in some manner in order to make this tool operative. And finally, is related with the part presented by Gonçal this morning. This is the need of counting on a district data model, unifying in an heterogeneous manner and with an ontology all the information that we collect, and in order to make the OptEEmAL solution to work again properly and in a unique language. And finally, of course, I would like to congratulate all the OptEEmAL team for 3 years and a half of working together. Because of your professional work, because of your collaborative and proactive framework, continuous learning of everybody, infinite patience and involvement, hard work and perseverance in facing shortcomings, and incomparable and awesome human team. So thank you so much for making things easy. I would like to ask for a resound applause for all this team. And it's all from my side, so the funny part. So I pass the floor to Julia.
Okay, so we are going to play. So I hope you already made this homework I told you before, and you have your Kahoot app ready. Otherwise, you also can go through kahoot.it, through the web page. Okay, so as you open the app, I'm going to show you. I suppose you're having something similar. I don't know if you can see that. Down, there, you can see on a square with 4 colors and different signs. You have to go in, and it's going to ask you for a pin. Are you there? Yes, so, ready, steady, nearly go. Okay, so you have to include these numbers in this screen. So, and you will be asked for a nickname. Select something that we can read because it's going to appear here. Wow, I like yours. Super hoo-hoo. Okay, so it's going to be really easy. As soon as I press start, no, I'm waiting, I'm just telling you how it works. We will have to answer 5 questions. They will be really easy, okay? I will try to read the question. The question will be here. In your screens, you will only see the 4 squares with colors. And here there will be 4 answers, and each one with this color. And you have to select the one you want to press in your mobile. Okay? You have it? Can we start? Are you ready? Yeah? No, not really. I can wait for a little more. Okay, one question. To answer, you will only have 30 seconds. I've been a good girl because it was initially in 10 or 20. But as some questions were having long answers, I need you to read them. Okay? It's okay now? No. Okay? Some help? Okay, for this side, okay. In the north, I see you ready. You are on it. Once you're in, you have to have this green, you are in message. Go on. No? Gonzalo, you have it? Yeah? You have it? Marco, Luca? Yeah? No? Okay. Yeah? Okay, so let's go. So, just 5 questions about today and the platform. About the presentations more related to the OptEEmAL platform today, were they clear for you? So, okay, we are all. Oh, very good. Very good. So this is the ranking. Okay, perfect. I see that the concepts were very well explained. Congratulations for those speaking. Next one. Okay, ready. Which is for you the more interesting characteristic of this OptEEmAL platform? Nearly done? Okay. So, it seems that interoperability is the question that has more interest for the audience in general. It's a big one. Okay, but each one has it. Okay, so, next one. Which is for you the main barrier for this OptEEmAL platform? Nearly there. Okay, let's see. Okay, the BIM model's availability. Okay, that is something that in the trainings also came out, which is the question of the BIM. We have to fix that, but not us, in general. Okay, so the fourth of five. Would you use this OptEEmAL platform if it would be available? Could it be useful for you? No, not for me, but it seems that it's done. Okay. You lost connection. It doesn't wait for us. Oh, I want to know this answer. It's going to finish this. Because the time's up, no one can. You select it, but what's that? I don't know what's happening. No. I don't think I can go out. No, I just can go to the next, but I'm still stuck in the third. Is it your case again? Is the same? Yeah. Maybe should I start from the beginning? Because I don't know. Yeah. Do you remember your... Okay. Some technique here. Yeah. I will start again. From this side. I don't know, here. Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Oh, who's has gone? Are we in? Ah, you are all in. It's me who is out. Okay, so it doesn't matter in my case. So, let's start. Okay, you remember this one? Don't change. Now you can be faster. Okay. Okay, yeah. Question 2. The characteristics. Doesn't work for you all? Oh my God. It was in question 4. Now we are in question 2. You cannot? Yeah, but I can see here answers.
Yeah, we asked for question 4.
Yeah. Time up for someone? So, but it seems to be the same answer than here. Well, tell me what happens in the next, okay? Because this should be the one of the barrier. What appears in your case?
Yes,
3?
we are alive.
Okay. One more? Okay. Okay. So, finger crossed. Yeah, it works. Ah, you had time to think. Well, the last one is very easy. One more. Who's missing? Yeah. Very good. Good results. Okay. Thank you for this answer. We like it. So, the last one, it's about this event. Did we meet your expectations today? Okay. Thank you so much also for this question. Okay, that's it. It was all 5 questions, although we have to repeat 3. Okay, I will save those results, okay, to have it, not only in our mind. Thank you so much. And I don't know if, Natalie, are you closing? I have to change in the computer.
Yes, so again, thank you all for being here. We thank the OptEEmAL partners for all the great work, the coordinator for coordinating the entire project over the 3.5 years. We thank all the collaborators for being here.